Armada Book 5 Chapter 3 The Commune Part 1. Dee was waiting inside her building with several agents moving some of the computers and equipment to the second floor. It was an open-area warehouse now fully decorated with glass dividers, planters, and even has a working fountain in the middle of the first floor. Reek and his party beamed in. "I like what you did to the place. It looks so San Francisco modern," Debbie said. "Dee, you've met Anna and Arlene. This is Second Lieutenant Jessica Berman," Reek said. Dee gave them each a hug. "You bought all these furniture, Dee?" Anna asked. "The fountain, painting, sofas and chairs, yes. Jamie bought those wood tables, the conference sets, office tables and dividers. Kelly provided the technology. There are 24 sofas. How did you know we would have that many ghosts?" Debbie asked, looking at Dee. "I expected more. There are seats and tables outside, on the second floor and third. Your main office, Dr. Reek, Anna, is on the second floor. Your team, Jesse, can take the whole third floor unless you choose to operate from the ship. The ground floor is the waiting room and initial processing room. You prepared well, Dee. I will have the Armada reimburse your expenses," Reek said. "I also designed our work uniforms to make it easier for the ghosts to know who our employees are. I have 8 sizes and several colors for different days." "You've been busy. So what else is there?" Jamie asked. "Outside the building, I turned the parking lot into a garments warehouse where our ghost can have a change of clothes. They can even take a bath at the back of the building where I had shower rooms made. I renovated the walls all around and they are now 15 feet high. The gate is always locked and nobody gets in or out unless you beam in or out. There is one medium-sized TP on the ground just in case. This TP is tied to the Earth network of TPs," Dee explained. "As Debbie said, I like what you did to the place. This is like a small community," Reek said. "This building is really good. We have more than 200 ghosts hanging around my house since we started. Word has really gotten around the ghost communities and now we can expect 10 times that number in a few days," Anna said and embraced Dee. "We can call this place the Commune," Debbie said. "Exactly my thoughts, Debbie. You know you think of things really fast," Reek said and Debbie smiled. "Let's go upstairs to your office," Dee told the group. "This area here are for our field operatives." Dee pointed to 24 tables with computers. There were several very large screens around the room. At the end of the floor were 3 large offices for you, Anna, Reek, and your team, and the third room is a conference room. The third floor had the same offices. You can take one of the main offices, Jesse. There are fewer tables for field operatives upstairs, but we have a small employee rest area that opens to the third floor open veranda. "So from outside this building will appear empty?" Arlene asked. "No, tonight, we will turn the whole building crimson invisible and it will stay as such as long as we are operating. It will never close for the night and all its doors will be always open for ghosts. If one looks inside from atop the high wall, all they would see is open ground space. The operation is 24/7. Some people would be working on weekends?" Arlene asked. "Or some ghosts. Later on we would have to employ some of them to do our work. There is no point just letting them hang around." "Exactly my thoughts, Anna. If they can pull their own weight, the better for us," Reek said. "Let's go upstairs to the third floor," Jesse said. The third floor was a copy of the second except that the tables and chairs were fewer, the walls was painted light yellow while the second was painted off-white. It had a dining area that opened to a veranda overlooking the parking lot which is now roofed over. Dr. Lane appeared with the team led by Captain Jason Ramos. "Great, you're all here," Jesse said. Dr. Lane introduced the men to Reek and his group. Dr. Lane continued, "General Castro moved their training to start a week from now. I told them we would assign them to Anna's house so they can learn to process ghosts, then they can help here process the ghosts coming over." "So shall we all go back to my house?" Anna asked and Reek nodded. The whole group was beamed in the street further up from Anna's house. They were all crimson invisible and they could see hundreds of ghosts. The 4 tables were simply swamped by ghosts. Anna and Arlene went inside the house. There were now 2 long food tables and around it, a large crowd of ghosts. Reek turned to Jason. "Jason, assign your men to the 4 tables and study how they process the ghosts. That's your task for the day. The house closes at 5 p.m. and all ghosts are turned away. I want you guys to tag each of them and move them to our new facility. There you can continue processing them. Let them have a change of clothes and have some refreshments. Call Tony in your implant and tell him what you need." "Yes, sir," Jason said. Then he talked to his people and they took their positions behind the desks. "Debbie, can our ship scan for ghosts from above?" Jesse asked. "We can see those out in the open. But not for those inside buildings and houses. That is why our first task is really to tag all the ghosts. This way the ships will have a register of all the ghosts. We then developed the database for each of them and the actions we took to help them. It may surprise you to know that ghosts love to gossip, to talk to each other. The ghosts we deal with will contact other ghosts. Pretty soon we have an overflowing group. Pretty much what we have now. But then your focus is with ex-military, so I would suggest you go to military families that lost their loved ones. There are known haunted areas frequented by military personnel. Jessie explained from her previous investigation. That's a good start for your people. Debbie said. I will go back to the ship and start organizing my work. Jessie said. She went over to Jason and told her to meet her in the ship when they are done. Then she beamed out. From behind a car, Debbie and Reek appeared in the normal for them to work. As Debbie and Reek turned to walk inside to the waiting room, they saw Mrs. Bertrand walking over. She waved them over and, "Hello, Mrs. Bertrand," Debbie greeted her. "You did receive the information we sent to your house regarding the corporate officers and the killer?" Mrs. Bertrand, "Yes, I did, Mr. Reek. I really just came by to pay for your hours and to say thank you. My husband has moved on and I am at peace now. This envelope is my payment for your time. I hope that it's enough." "Thank you very much, Mr. Reek," Debbie. "Please tell Anna and Arlene that I really appreciate their work and what they did for me." "So you will still pursue the killers?" Reek asked. "Of course. After I sell the company I will bring them hell. It's not right for you to let these things pass and not take action." "I like your attitude, Mrs. Bertrand. Maybe if you have some time we can talk about something else," Debbie said. "If you need anything from me, just anything really, just call me and tell me what you want and I will make sure I will do everything to help. I really don't know how you did what you did, but I really appreciate what you did for me and my late husband." She embraced Debbie and then Reek and she quickly turned and left. "Another satisfied customer, I presume," they heard Jason say. "Jason, get 2 of your officers and come with us inside Anna's office. Observe how she works and maybe assist her in some way," Reek said. They went inside Anna's room and she was deep in argument with the client. "I am telling you there is no ghost of your daughter here," Anna said. "I am telling you I feel Susan, like she is just around me. I am sorry. I cannot help you. Arlene will reimburse your payment." The client was really angry. Anna told Tony to make them crimson invisible. "Hello, young lady, Susan is it? Why did you not want to talk to your mother? She's a crook and I want you to tell the police about her activities. She's a drug dealer for some South American drug king and she handles the whole of Fresno. Her business has gone down but she is still at it. She's an addict and has destroyed so many lives." "How did you die, Susan?" Anna asked. "In a car accident. I was really angry at her and how she lives, I just lost it I guess. I feel that I should right her wrong or change the way she lives. But then she's an addict and I don't know if she will ever change. She has tried to convince me countless times that she will change but she never did, all lies. I think she should be caught and sent to prison. She should be caught red-handed and sent to prison. But rehabilitated first. I can direct the police to her hiding places. We have another house in the city and the drugs are in the basement. I know all her minions and her activities. Jason, why don't you assign one of your 2 guys to accompany Susan to Rico and ask him if he can handle the case? If not, ask Jamie who among the teams can handle the case." Reek said. "I'll take care of it, sir." Tony said Rico is in the ship. "We can go now." Jason nodded to his man to go ahead. Arlene told the group telepathically Mrs. James's husband was killed in the war and she said her husband never saw the baby in person, only on videos. She feels him around and dreams about him standing in the doorway appearing angry. Anna, Reek and Debbie turned into the physical form just as Mrs. James entered the room. "Wait, I know you. You're Captain Sonny James, of Charlie. I'm Jason Ramos of Bravo. I saw you one time at a briefing at the old USS aircraft carrier Obama." "Yes, I remember you." "Hey man, what are you doing here?" Sonny said. "Helping out ghosts such as yourself." Anna telepathically told Jason to keep their conversation quieter. She told him she is trying to talk to the wife. Sonny moved closer to Jason. "Man, I thought I had a kid to come home to. But I was killed and when I tried to see my kid I realized the kid was not mine and I saw the father with my wife in my house." Anna looked at Sonny and then at Jason. "Mrs. James, the kid is not your husband's and you had the real father in your house when your husband was killed in the war." "How did you know that?" "Your husband told me. Tell her I don't like her to get a penny of my benefits, not for her and not for her child. Then I would like her to sell the house and give all the money to my sister. Tell her that or else I will ruin her life and her man's life." Anna told Mrs. James exactly what Sonny told her. "I cannot do that." "You can and you should, otherwise the sister will sue your ass for pretending to your husband that the child is his. The military will hold off all payments to you. As for the house, you will end up with a haunted house. I am sure you do not want to live in a house with a vengeful ghost. Reek said. Mrs. James thought for a while. I would have to think about it. Anna stood up and gestured that she can leave now. She quickly stood and left the room. Anna turned to Sonny. Sonny, we can make you appear before your wife tonight after 9 p.m. so you can talk to her yourself. You can do that? Sure, we can do that. So after she does all these things you asked of her, you can move on? Jason asked. Sure, I guess. I don't really know how this works, but I feel so strongly about this. Have you tasted some of the food outside? Jason asked. I can do that? Sure, just go outside and eat your heart out. Sonny smiled and left. Talk to you later, buddy. Sonny told Jason. That was quick. Anna said. I enjoyed that. Jason said. Meto. It was Lieutenant Dwayne Perkins who was just standing there all the time. Don't enjoy too much, you might move on and we won't have a Jason or a Perkins to help out with our work with the ghosts. Reek said, and Jason smiled. Next is a mother and daughter, Mrs. Rivas and Nina. The daughter wants to talk to the father. Arlene said on cue. Mrs. Rivas, I do not see your husband's ghost with you. Anna said. But I feel him in my room. Nina said. She was a chubby 8-year-old with some freckles on her cheeks. She's tall for her age at 5.5 feet. Reek told Dwayne to go to her room and look for the dad, tag him and bring him over. I'm on it. Dwayne said and disappeared. Young lady, do you dream about your daddy? Anna asked. Every night. In my dreams, I embrace him and kiss him and he would tell me he would take care of me. Mrs. Rivas interjected. My husband and I, we are teachers at our local high school in Eureka and he died in a local fire a month ago. He was a volunteer fireman on weekends. Sometimes I could feel him doing things around the house but he is not there. Sometimes I dream and I know he was there but could not remember some of them. Dwayne appeared with Mr. Rivas. He was a tall burly Latino and white mixed race with a thick mustache. He was wearing his white fireman clothes. Good, thank you Dwayne. Nina, your dad's here, behind you. Do you want to talk to him? Anna asked. I sure do. Nina said with a smile. Jason patted Dwayne on his shoulder. Good job, Dwayne. Thank you, sir. Dwayne answered. Everybody turned crimson invisible and, why don't you give your dad a hug? Anna said. Nina was not sure but she stood up and ran to her dad. She hugged her tight and cried. Mrs. Rivas also stood up and went over to embrace her husband. They were all crying. Why don't you guys move over to the kitchen and talk there for a while then come back here when you're ready? Anna suggested. Mrs. Rivas nodded and Reek gestured the way for them. Jason told one of his men outside the house to bring some refreshment inside for a ghost in the kitchen. Arlene, who's next? Mom, this one is a ghostwriter. His name is Ronald Anders. He is investigating the Metal Museum ghosts and he believes some of them have been following him even after he left the place. Mr. Anders, please, have a seat. Mr. Anders proceeded to tell her he felt there are ghosts following him wherever he goes. There are no ghosts around you, Mr. Anders. Anna continued. Reek telepathically said, Jason, can you tell your men outside to ask around who came with Mr. Anders here? Ask them if they can come over here, we'd like to talk to them please. Tell us about your experiences with ghosts. Anna said. I was writing a book about this haunted museum. It was purported to have military and hospital patient ghosts. When I was there with a paranormal TV group, there were some movements and we were even able to record sounds and murmurings. Now I hear these sounds in my head even when I left the place. I went to New York, to Florida, and now here and I still can feel them around me and hear them murmur. Anders looked at Debbie and Reek who were both quietly standing behind Anna. Anna introduced them. Tony, can you ask Jesse to come over crimson invisible please? Reek said. Jesse beamed down, I'm here Mr. Reek, Debbie, Anna. Hello Jason, Dwayne. Then one by one some ghosts walked into the room. They were still eating, some with sandwiches and some with paper cups of juices. There were 6 of them. 2 were wearing Marine uniforms, 2 Army and 2 civilian. So here are your ghosts. They just walked in. Anna turned to the ghosts, why are you guys stalking Mr. Anders? One of the ghosts answered, no particular reason. We're bored and we thought it would be a good idea to travel with the guy. Okay fine, I would request that you do not follow Mr. Anders and just hang around here. Maybe we can have you do something for us. Sure, with the food you serve, I will stay here forever. No you won't. Jesse said and tagged the 6. I will bring them to the ship and process them personally. Jesse said. Do you want me to accompany you? Jason asked. Jesse thought for a while, sure. They all disappeared. They agreed never to follow you, Mr. Anders. Anna said. Are you sure they wouldn't anymore? Anders asked. Not if you attract other ghosts. Good day, sir. She stood and went over to open the door. I am beginning to like Jessie. She is a take-charge type of person. Reek said. Arlene's voice cracked into their implants. Captain Santos is next, or do you want him to wait? No, let Max in. Max entered carrying several folders. These are for the cases I started in the kitchen. This flash drive has everything for your records. I need you to go over these and talk to the ghosts so I can proceed with my work. Why are you doing this work, Captain Santos? Reek asked. Frankly, I just had to. I will be retiring in 2 years and I know there are all these cases of missing persons. Maybe Anna can help, I thought. And she has, more than I can imagine. But she also referred cases to me and some of them I am still working on. You could say, we have our own pet project with Captain Santos. Unknown to a lot of people, even to his men, Max really is out there helping me with ghost cases. In the station he is the strict bully captain, but here you've seen him work with the ghosts. He is the most caring person in the police force. I'm not. It would be easier for Captain Santos to work if he signs the same documents you and Arlene signed. Reek told Tony to beam the documents over for Captain Santos to sign. I guess so. Anna said. Max looked perplexed. Some documents appeared on Anna's table. Anna did not even flinch. She calmly got the documents and a pen from a drawer and gave them to Max. Please sign on the line. Print your name and date it, please. Max did not say a word. He has trusted Anna. He believed in her when nobody in the police department did. In fact, nobody in his family thinks she can do what he told them she did. He just signed on. Anna asked the Crimson to turn them all invisible. Somebody appeared beside you, Anna. Max said. Oh, this is just Dwayne. He helps around here for the day. Anna said. Why don't I take Captain Santos on a tour around the house and our office and then let him talk to Rico and his team? Debbie said. Good call, Debbie. Reek said. Debbie led Max outside. Max saw ghosts hanging around the receiving room. He had seen and talked with ghosts before, so he did not have a particularly awesome surprised feeling. What got his breath away was when they went outside and he saw hundreds of ghosts. There were 4 tables and behind them were 6 or so people. The lines of the ghosts were long and snaking down the street. Then he saw 2 large tables full of food and drinks, and these were surrounded by ghosts as well. It seems like a party here. Did you get a permit for this party, Debbie? Max asked. Debbie laughed. We wanted to, but there were no ghost police to apply to. Debbie introduced Max to some of the people manning the tables. We are instructing all these ghosts to tell their friends, other ghosts, about our new offices. Come, let's go there. My car is up the hill. Max said. Don't worry about that. Debbie said and told Tony to beam them to the Commune. Max and Debbie found themselves inside the Commune building. Welcome to the Commune, Captain Santos. Those guys are CIA. Let me tour you around. Call me Max. So Commune as in a community. Debbie nodded. Debbie showed the parking lot with racks of garments, the showers, the offices, and the 3rd-floor lounge. You could hold your team's office here in one of the cubicles. I don't have a team. Well, not yet. You need at least 2 ghost assistants and 1 live one. Debbie asked Tony where Rico was and he told her he is in a meeting in the mission room in the ship. I want you to meet Rico, he's a retired detective. Tony beamed them to the bridge. Max was again quiet. Debbie held his arm and led him out to the hall and into the mission hall. In the mission room was Rico, Joe, Jamie, Jesse, Julian, and Susan. Jason and Dwayne were standing outside the door and were ready to go to the mess hall. Hi, Debbie. Commune. Jamie waved her in. Jamie, this is Captain Max Santos of the LAPD. He moonlights as a ghost crime solver and has been working with Anna for a long time now. Anna thought he would work better if he is properly integrated. Max, this is Jamie, the movie star. I think you met her. That's Detective Rico and his partner Joe, both retired. Susan is a ghost with a drug lord for a mother, and Julian is a dead evac pilot. The 2 guys outside are Dwayne and Jason, both ghosts. Max moved and shook their hands. I think I saw you on TV, Rico. You solved the murder of the 2 girls. Max said. Yes and no, because Jamie and her group solved it for me. Jesse, where are the ghost stalkers? Debbie asked. I left them in the Crimson. They would be out in a few. You know, the Crimson told me they are so excited doing this because unlike Max and the Norsets or everything else so far, those are all alive. Now they are seeing the experiences of ghosts when they were ghosts. Some are actually very funny. And they really get a kick of when a ghost moves on. They even make it a point to be present each time a ghost we have moves on. Max, in our line of work we are all telepathic and we all have telecom implants. We get tons of information downloaded into our brain for us to use in our work. Like Julian here, Because he is one of our ground operatives, he is implanted with long-range telecom, enhanced hearing and visuals, like night vision and telescopic lenses, remote video, and other things. Debbie said. You will make me telepathic and have lots of information in my head? It's a lot of fun, really. Rico said. If you agree, of course. Debbie clarified. Come on, I agree. Why don't you take Susan with you? She wants to work with Rico as part of his investigation teams. His first ghost investigator trainee. I feel that I can make up for the crimes my mother have and still is committing. Sure, come on, Susan. Debbie and the two beamed out. I think we can assign one of the Marines to help you with your backroom work, Rico. I will assign the other two, one civilian and one Marine, to Max to help him out. Jesse said. Rico countered, I think it would be better to have 3 at least, because you would never know when these ghosts move on. I heard those Marines came from the Second World War. I don't know how long they could stay. And I have tons of cases already where I need ghosts to go around and investigate. I am not even sure if these guys can help. That's good enough. I can assign 2 to Max, looks like he works alone. Then I will send the last 2 back to their museum to bring the others to the commune. Jesse said. I can have one of the FBI agents work with him. Jamie said. Ask him, maybe he has a pesky partner in mind like I have. They noticed Joe was in the veranda looking out. The 6 ghosts beams in from the Crimson. Debbie beamed back. I see you had a change of clothes already. Okay guys, I will assign some work for you. Sergeant Knight and PFC Grinaldi, you will work with Rico and Joe. Your job is to investigate ghosts issues on cases Rico and Joe are working on. Jesse said. Tell me again, LT, why do we have to work? SGT Knight asked. You work for food, something you don't need but love to have. We will try to arrange some sort of salary for you guys so you can buy anything you like. Our objective is really to help you move on, not to give you a job. But the initial interview showed that you have some psychological issues that make you unable to accept your death. I suppose you like to move on, right? If not, you will get bored, as you have obviously have. And while you are bored, we give you a job. Get you a shrink or something. Now did I explain it right for you? Jesse said, looking at SGT Knight. I guess you have. I'm in with working with Rico here. I have no problem. Better than what we have gone through since the war. Grinaldi said. Now I need 2 guys to go back to your museum and explain to the ghosts there what we have here. 2 of you will work with Captain Max Santos, who is with the Crimson at the moment. How many more ghosts are there in the museum, Sergeant Knight? Jesse asked. Knight thought for a while. 27. 18 men and 9 women. So Sergeant Bolton and Sergeant Foster, you 2 work with Max, and that makes you Angelo Cortez, and you, Mark Drubel, you guys go back to your museum, and I expect you to be back tomorrow morning on the ground floor. Jesse said. So we will just ask Tony to beam us there and ask him again tomorrow to beam us back tomorrow? Mark asked. You have to tag the others using the tagging pens on the table there. Jamie said. Angelo got hold of 2 pens and gave one to Mark. Jamie held Mark's hand and, wait before you go. Tony, can you beam boxes of ice cream and some cups and teaspoons over, please? This is so your friends know what they are missing. Angelo nodded. They carried 4 boxes each and a bag of cones, utensils and cups. Then they were beamed out. Debbie appears from the Crimson. Jesse, did you ask the Crimson to provide your people with the information they need for their work? You know, especially for the old warriors, they need an update on the technology. As a matter of fact, I did when I noticed that the museum ghosts do not go far from the museum and they are still living in the past. I think that when we bring them to the present and literally to the future of Earth, they get really shaken, and we need to guide them through the process by providing clear and direct instructions. Treat it like a crisis situation. Jesse explained. That's very smart, Jess. Jamie commented. They teach us this in the academy. Debbie said. Yeah, and the teacher was really a prick. Jesse said, and Debbie smiled at her. So Rico, will you take Susan's case? Debbie asked. She's going to work for me, so what is there to say? Did you read how Harold dealt with the cartels? Debbie asked. No, how? Rico asked, looking at Debbie. He hit them where it hurts most. In their pockets. Rico was still looking at her. Debbie continued, he got all their money. From their bank accounts, from their safes, from all the hiding places they are keeping their money in. No money means no trade. How? Rico asked, still looking perplexed. Send infiltrators to their offices to get all their passwords and intel on where they move their money. Once their accountants leave the computer, you use the same computers to siphon off the money into the CIA account. Have Kelly talk to Santiago and Santos. These are geniuses in hacking. They created an entire banking and commercial world that all the computers of the bad guys go into thinking they are in the real world. There was a time a Russian crook withdrew all his money and put them in a large safe. The next day, all the money was gone. Once you have people, ghosts really, tailing your prey, you will find out where they hide the goods and the money, and then you simply get their money. Tony gets some Max to help and train Rico's people of how the Armada does things with the drug cartels. Amazing. I will talk to Kelly to set up something with Santiago and Santos. Rico said. Speaking of Santos, Jamie pointed to Captain Santos who just appeared. How was it, Captain Santos? Debbie asked. I did not feel a thing, but now I feel smarter, like I know more things than I used to. That's amazing. Susan said as she rearranged her long straight blonde hair. The information the Crimson downloaded into your brains are really those related to your work. Now we need to get you an implant. Debbie explained. Tony appeared. Please stand still, Captain Santos, Susan. A tissue implant will be beamed inside your head on your right side behind the ears. After a while Tony told them it's done and Susan moved to Rico's group. Captain Santos, this is Sergeant Bolton and this is Sergeant Foster. I am assigning them to you as your field operatives to deal with the ghosts. They can interview the ghosts you want to talk to or spy for you. They can go into anything and report to you what they find out. Jesse said, and Max shook hands with them. They are products of the Second World War and the Crimson helped bring them up to speed. They are both telepathic and they downloaded a ton of information related to their present jobs. Jamie explained. Do you have a partner in doing your work, Captain Santos? Debbie asked. Not really. But I have somebody in mind though who have always been helping me with my outside activities. If you think you would still need him to do your work, it would be better to get him into your group so you can function better together. He's my older brother. He used to be a police detective. Now he's retired. I would suggest you bring the guy in. Have him sign the same documents you signed and bring him in. Get him telepathic and get an implant. I will deal with him tomorrow night. Right now I want to talk to my group and see how we can work. Several Macs appeared. Hi Debbie, I'm Soren, this is Lanet, Grina, and Goman. Soren said. We volunteered to Tony's call for assistance in your new group. Which we find very strange. Lanet said. Great, strange away. Lanet, Grina, this is Max and his group has 2 ghosts and another human partner. Soren, Lanet, you 2 go to Rico over there and that's his group. These 2 teams try to solve crimes that resulted in the death of the ghosts. Debbie said. This is so exciting. So those 2 are ghosts and these 2 are ghosts? Soren asked and Debbie nodded. Then the Macs moved to join their groups. Jason and Dwayne walked in and stood beside Julian who was alone by the door. Come on guys, let's all go back to Anna's. Debbie told them. Let me go with you. Jesse said. Back at Anna's they were still surprised to see a lot of humans outside the house and in the reception hall. Debbie saw Reek outside, Lachine, Sonia and Gasimjan are here. And these guys are part of their official entourage. Reek said. When they entered Lachine saw Debbie and moved to embrace her. Sonia and Gasimjan embraced her after Lachine. We still have 2 clients waiting. Wait, here we go. Mrs. Granger, you can come in now. Arlene said. Lex, Sonia, Sam, go in and watch how she operates. Debbie said. Arlene led them inside. Jessie went outside to talk to her people. Behind a car she turned Crimson invisible. She saw that they were all very busy processing the ghosts. She noticed the number of ghosts is now half of what it was earlier. Jason turned to her, we are now directing all the ghosts to the community. Once we process them, we tag them and they are beamed there. Tomorrow we will be on training already so we wouldn't be here to help. Kelly's people will just redirect all the ghosts that come over to the community. Meanwhile Debbie told Reek about the groups in the ships and the Mac teams. Then they turned Crimson invisible and walked outside. Reek and Debbie went over to Jesse, I think we need the ghosts for a second shift in the commune. Jason, get Dwayne, and the guys. Jesse said. They moved beside a car and Reek told them when they move all the ghosts to the commune they would need a second shift to work from 5 to 2 in the morning. Sir Reek, ghosts never sleep in case you don't know. And we like to keep busy. Actually we also do not get tired. We're ghosts. And frankly I think our work here is incredible and very satisfying for me at least. I would organize and work the second shift to help the ghosts. Dwayne said. Same here. And I think we would all do that. Jason said. Until you go on training with General Castro which will be in 2 days. Jesse commented. Guys, you know those 2 ladies that came in. The small lady in red named Sonia and the tall blonde in khaki, her name's Sam, are leaders of 2 human planets. You can expect that they will be impressed with Anna and they will see how you guys work. When they found out what we do, they wanted to have their own teams. Both of their planets were occupied and ravaged by an alien race which is now a new friend. Their population was literally devastated in the millions. So you can expect millions of ghosts. Sonia lost her parents and brother to the war. They also felt, as we do, that the ghosts need their help in moving on. You all know what war is and what it causes, the heartaches, the pain, the lost loved ones. Reek explained. Jesse turned to Reek and, I am all for helping, sir, but we are still in the training and organizational stages. The only reason these guys are together is because they hung around together and now the president himself gave them a mission. I am sure I can talk to Albert in diverting your training a little bit. We only need to establish their own ghost groups. From what you learned here today, I am sure we can just train some of their lives and ghost people to do what we do. I can have Rico and Max come as well for just 3 days. Kelly's people will help us too. So we will just organize, teach them and leave? Jesse asked. I know you already know your tasks are enormous. But these people are our friends in space. Lachine is an Armada commander, our sister in arms. We even have Armada ships in space near the 2 planets. And these people came out of a long and devastating war. Helping their ghosts will help heal a lot of wounds. And besides, you'll only work there for a few days. Think of it like a consultancy job while on vacation in another exotic country. Debbie explained. I have all the time in the world, I hope, and I feel good doing this. I think we should do it. Jason said. Okay, we'll do it. Jesse said. They saw Arlene and Lachine turn crimson invisible. They noticed Lachine was crying and Arlene was holding her shoulders. Lachine saw them and moved nearer. She could not handle the drama. It was about a sister that lost a brother and she has been looking for him for more than 20 years. Lachine and I found him in her house and brought them together. Arlene explained. Lex, this is Jesse, that's Jason, Julian, Dwayne. Reek said. Jesse took over the introduction. They will be the teams that will go to your planet and to Sam's for a few days to establish your version of Phantom Tide. I will bring 2 other groups and several government personnel to train your people on the process. Lex, direct your ships to leave now and go to your planet with your Crimson. We will just take the hops. Debbie said. You read my mind, Debbie. Thank you. Lachine said. I'm going with you. I asked my mom already and she said yes. Arlene said. The beauty of being telepathic. Julian said. Jesse, we will go to the community now. There are ghosts hanging around the area. Jason said. Remember to ID the military and if possible recruit them. Better yet recruit anybody who is willing and able. We leave tomorrow for Lachine and Sam's planet. Jason nodded at Jesse and they all disappeared. I want to go to the ship and talk to Rico and Max, tell them our plans. Reek said. I will go a little later, I'll take Lachine's group to the commune to show them around. Debbie said. Reek nodded and disappeared. Sonia's and Sam's people started to beam back out to the commune. Some went back to their ships. When Anna got out of her room with Sonia and Sam, they have all gone. Debbie brought them to the commune. Debbie, this is a nice place. And you said you just started yesterday? Sonia asked. Well, as you can imagine the task is large on Earth and all the human planets. Debbie said. Lachine told me you will be bringing teams to our world and setting things up for similar operations. Sam said. Yes, we have teams of ghosts, military, civilians, detectives, and Max who will help you establish your own teams. Do you have people like Anna and Arlene in your world, Sam? I believe so, although I have not met one. I will have my people look for them now. Sam said. How about you, Sonia? Debbie asked. I am sure we have. I have actually told my people to look and verify these people already. When do you plan to go to our planets, Debbie? Tomorrow. Okay. So where are we going to eat? I like sushi. Lachine said. We can go to Tokyo. I know a good restaurant my family went to a few years ago. Jesse said. Sushi means raw fish? Sonia asked. Don't be a coward, Sonia. Come on, Jesse. Who's going? Sam asked. Let me get Anna and Arlene, maybe they want to go with us. Debbie said. After 2 days, Phantom Tide found their teams off-world. Only Reek was left to manage the organization. They split the team into 2. Jesse with Jamie, Rico and Anna were at Sam's planet while Debbie, Dee, Arlene and Max were at Sonia's. They brought 40 ghosts with them. Besides Jason's team, they had ghosts from the commune that were willing to work with them. 3 of the ghosts that joined were scientists while another 4 were technical engineers. 5 were police and law enforcement officers.